What's up? What's
Hey,
up,
hey, hey.
Well Society? Woo woo! So come on in, you guys. I am super excited tonight. We have some amazing information that we want to share tonight. I have my girl, listen, my girl, my wealth mentor. Listen, spiritual prayer warrior. Come on.
Let's go, let's go.
All that, right?
Let's
All
go.
that with us tonight. So we are gonna give it a few minutes and we're gonna go ahead and wait for you guys to come on in, and then we are going to get started. Let me just do a couple of things real quick. I know it's a delay, so I'm going online. So as you are coming on in, go ahead and tell me your name. Tell me where you are coming in from. I want to see who's all on this live tonight. I see two people on so far. Now come on in, tell me your name, tell me where you're coming in at. Because listen, I want to make sure that I know who's on here, because once you get this information, listen, we changing the trajectory of your entire economic status in your household, right? I put out a post a little bit earlier, and the post said that the generational curse of lack, it stops with you, right? It's literally going to stop with you. You will no longer be in lack. You will no longer be in poverty. You will no longer be poor, passing over opportunities repeatedly, right? And so we are here today because I definitely, Latoya, what's going on, Latoya? I'm so glad you got on. We are definitely going to show you tonight literally how to create your own bank. Now, this ain't something that just came, like out the blue, or something that I'm not doing, right? Even I'm doing it because listen, I said my family will no longer be living in poverty. I will no longer live before paycheck to paycheck. Period. Period. Right. And that's what a lot of us are doing. We're living paycheck to paycheck. We're not budgeting. We're not, really educating ourselves on our financial situation, right? Because why? Mama didn't do it, grandma didn't do it. So why should I do it, right? The struggle is real. And what we have allowed to happen is we've allowed the struggle to be our comfort zone. We've allowed being in poverty to be our comfort zone. So we've allowed ourselves to become comfortable with living paycheck to before paycheck, literally. Tasha, oh my gosh, Tasha, you are going to kill me. But thanks for getting on, Tasha. I promise you we are going to talk before the night is over with. But literally, you guys, it's time out from being comfortable with where our finances are, literally, right? And so in Chic Wealth Society, we are making changes, and they're small changes, but the small changes grow into big changes, right? Because how many of you guys know that if you're faithful just over a few things, God is going to make you ruler over many things. So if we're being faithful just a little bit, if we're being faithful with just a little bit that we have, if we're being faithful with just that little bit of oil that's in our house, He's going to bless us with that and that and that of oil, right? And so tonight, I'm super excited again, like I said, to have my girl, my wealth mentor, my business partner, literally everything that I've been me and Camille, I think we've been rocking for like almost 4 years
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
now.
Time is flying.
Listen, we didn't see each other go through some stuff, all kinds of stuff, but we
Listen.
are still rocking. And listen, I'm so super excited. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started. It is 6:06. I do believe in starting on time, and we're just going to share this information with you. We want to stretch your mind. We want to stretch you, right? That a lot of times that's the problem, is we don't want to get stretched. We want to continue to be comfortable, but you will not grow being comfortable. In order for you to grow, in order for you to get to that next level, in order for you to be all that God wants you to be and has for you to be, is you have got to stretch your mind, right? You have got to stretch yourself, right? You have got to think differently, because if you don't change your mind and think differently, you're going to continue to repeat the same cycles that you've been repeating for the last year. You're going to continue to repeat the same cycles that you've been repeating for the last 3 years, the last 5 years, wondering why am I still in the same place that I've always been? Why is nothing changing in my life? Why am I doing the same thing over and over again? And we all know that the definition of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is insanity. And so we are here to tell you, baby, you are not insane today. Listen,
Right.
my wealthy sister, you are not walking in insanity. You are walking in clarity on today. And we are going to clarify some things for you on today so that you can get there. So Camille, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. I'm excited. Let's rock, girl.
Let's go. Let's go. So Jackie, thank you so much for having me on here, and every person and every woman part of Chic Wealth Society. Thank you for tuning in. Hashtag if you watching the replay, if you're live, go ahead and tag some of your wealth sisters and let them know that we're actually live right now, because we'll answer questions live as well, because we can see your comments. And so Jackie and I, like she said, we've been rocking for like 4 years almost, if it hasn't passed 4 years. And just being able to see us both develop and grow over time has been phenomenal. And one of the things that I would say that Jackie and I have in common is that we understand the importance of access. We understand the importance of continual education. We understand the importance of plugging into people who are smarter than us. Because the reality is there are people that can take you to one point. There are people that can expose you to certain things, but then it is important to pursue beyond that, right? So for example, what we're going to be talking about tonight is decentralized finance. This is something that I probably, and Jackie would have never, we probably wouldn't understand had we not been plugged in. And so I want you to really think about the term continual education. Because if you've ever been licensed to be a teacher, a doctor, a life insurance agent, any of those professions that require licensing, you have to do continual education so that you can stay sharp with the change of things in that particular field. And so you have to still be the same way when it comes to your money, right? The economy is forever changing. Innovation is playing a major role in the things that we're happening to see right now. Decentralized finance is calling a disruption where banking is concerned. You see what I'm saying? The banks realize that this coming on the scene, which makes it the people's bank, where you now really have control, is changing the game. A couple of years ago, we've talked about crypto, and some people said and was just like, I heard, nah, that's a scam. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit back. And now you see Bitcoin at 61K, and you like, man, I remember when it was 35K. I mean, or 30, even 3,000. You see what I'm saying? Whether it was 35, 3,000, 20,000. But you sat back and watched out of speculation. One of the things that Jackie and I have heard from our wealth mentor, Dr. Joel Tankard, is that when you hear from somebody smarter than you, you move and figure it out later. It's been times we have a group chat and I'll be like, y'all buy this NFT. Everybody be like, bought it. We don't know what we doing. At first, we didn't know what we was doing. All I knew was our wealth mentors who are willing to invest in themselves monthly positioned us with something that allows us to invest and grow as well. And so we had to shift our mindset of wanting stuff for free, because free can only take you so far. And you have to ask yourself, am I worth X amount of dollars? Because if I'm worth X amount of dollars and I believe in that, I can really see the 6 and 7 figures that I desire to see. When I had a mindset of, I don't want to pay for extra education, let me just see what I can get for free. I won't pay for education that could free my family for a legacy, but I'll pay for education to go back to school to get a job. You see how that's missed? Yeah, it's the side here for me. You see, so you have to really change your mindset, where that's concerned. So I'm kind of just setting the ground for what, we're going to be talking about, because I want you to change your thought process, because many of you have major goals that you desire to accomplish. You don't really know how you can accomplish them, but I promise you, with the information I'm about to share with you, you're going to know how to accomplish it. And then now, after you hear the information, it's just about moving. Don't have the analysis paralysis of, I don't understand it all. Let me research it first, this and that. Do what the wealthy do. They get it and they figure it out later. When I joined this space of foreign exchange and cryptocurrency almost 6 years ago, my mentor said, you should do it. I was listening to somebody I was willing to change bank accounts with. I didn't go start asking my mom and my cousins and people who weren't where I was trying to go financially what they thought. Do you see what I'm saying? So if the results are in front of you, like, we waste money on so many things. You see what I'm saying? But for some reason, when it comes to investing in ourselves and our financial future, we don't see the worth in it. You see what I'm saying? I literally just had to go get my nails and feet done, and it cost me $115. It cost me $115.
Wait,
So I could pay.
hold on. I was like, I'll call you in 10 minutes. I was literally on my way back from getting my nails done.
Listen, we're gonna do those tangible material things to make us look good on the outside, but we don't want to invest in those things that's gonna make our bank account look good on the inside. And so you have to really change your thought process and your mindset where this information and these things are concerned, so you can go to the next level. So let's jump in here and talk about DeFi. I'm gonna share my screen. Let me see here. I'm not gonna go through the whole presentation. I have select things that I want to show you guys. Let's do. Okay. I hit entire screen. So Jackie, you might have to expose my screen. It's the big square on the right with the two pictures. Let's see. Okay. All right, perfect. So you can see my screen. So it's a couple of things that I want to point out to you really quick. So in the last couple of weeks, you probably saw the article that talked about President Biden and how he had this proposed legislation that would allow the IRS to have more information on your bank accounts if you have more than $600 in the bank. And so I was like, that's kind of an invasion of privacy, because, you know, right now, only if you do transactions over $10,000 is when the banks actually report to the IRS. But now they're saying if you have at least 600 in the bank, at the end of the year, they're sending a report to say how much money came in, how much money went out, all of that. Basically, that they're no longer trusting you to report your own income. They're trying to get more money in their pockets, and in an attempt to evade, get rid of tax evasion or whatever the case may be. So this right here, when I saw this, it was an indicator. This is not something that is actually in law yet, but it is a proposed legislation that, if it does pass, will go into effect into 2023. So how good would you feel to know that there are avenues and things that you could do today to protect your money? So even if this was something that did come to pass, that you're already set. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is how the wealthy get wealthy, and this is why access is important, because it keeps you ahead. So just like with crypto and what's happened over the last year, and everybody's wanting to get into crypto, and Bitcoin is this. Is it too late for Bitcoin? Is it too late for that? It's not, by the way. I'll talk about that here shortly. But, you know, it's like now you're scrambling because you sat back and watched and didn't move. You now have another opportunity in front of you to get ahead of the curve. So 2 years from now, you're not like, oh, wait, help me set that bank up you was talking about 2 years ago. No, start applying the principles now. It's a couple of things that I want you to pay attention to. Let me see. Let me find it. So there was something else. I thought this was really interesting. To the American people, I say this: as soon as this week, your savings and your pocketbook could be directly impacted by this stunt to block us from raising the debt limit. So they actually raised the debt limit, but at one particular point, the U.S. government was at risk of running out of money. So that was telling me that if we don't get a raise in our debt ceiling, they were going to start capturing all of our money in the bank. Like, how can they do that? That's because this is what's called centralized finance. So centralized finance, just so you can understand, is all services that rely on a central authority. So this includes banks and Federal Reserve, because they are actually run by people, right? They are run by entities and groups of people where your money is concerned. The thing with centralized finance is it is prone to mismanagement, fraud, corruption, all those different things. And the reason being is because it's people. So I'm pretty sure you've seen articles and you've seen different things where there are people who may be trying to buy a house or get a loan for something. And they want to know all your demographic because they're using your demographic and your background to determine if they're going to loan or how much or what your interest rate and so forth is going to be. And so it's so, I just don't like it, you know, and so when I heard about DeFi a couple of months ago, it's been around for a while, but when I really got the revelation and the education on it, I'm like, this is a game changer. So some of you, like myself, may be entrepreneurs. You may be business owners and so forth. You may have gone through the process of trying to get certain loans, whether you're trying to buy a house or, you know, do different things like that. And so for me, I've gone through the home buying process twice, but then I kept running into these hiccups and I back out every time. And the reason why is because it's like the government wants to penalize you for being an investor, and they want to penalize you for being a business owner. Because if I would have just had a W-2, they would have given me everything that I wanted, right? They would have given me what I needed to, you know, they wouldn't care. But because I'm a business owner, this is kind of what the cycle in the central finance arena looks like. Camille applies for a loan for a home. Camille has to turn in her bank statements, her tax returns. The IRS legally allows Camille to deduct all her expenses because she's a business owner. Camille made $200,000 each year for the last 2 years. After Camille's deductions, her adjusted gross income appears to be $25,000. I'm just throwing speculative numbers out there because I want to give you a picture. So even though Camille made $200,000 and the IRS legally allowed her to write off her deductions, it appears that she made $25,000 each year. So now that Camille wants to buy a house, Camille is looking at a $600,000 house. But then the mortgage lenders say, Camille, you can't afford that house on a $25,000 a year income. And I say, I made $200,000. They say, well, if you want to count the $200,000, you have to roll all of your deductions back into your taxes and now pay taxes on $200,000 a year instead of $25,000. Do you see how that cycle is so messed up? They made it so easy for me to get 6 figures in student loan debt, but they won't make it easy for me to buy a house. And so I literally told my wealth mentor, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go hard in the paint with my trading, with my crypto, because the cycle that they have us in where this space is concerned, I was like, I'm buying a house cash or I'm going to find another way to finance myself. And that's literally what I said. So then here comes DeFi. So let's talk about what DeFi is in contrast to centralized finance. DeFi is actually short for decentralized finance. It is a collective term for financial products and services that are accessible to anyone who can use Ethereum. Anyone who has an internet connection can use Ethereum. So if you're watching this live, you're on an internet connection. That means you have access to Ethereum. That means you can have your own bank, okay? This is what I want you to understand. The DeFi markets are always open and there is no centralized authorities who can block payments or deny you access. Have you ever in your life, and I know y'all have you ever in your life was like, I'm trying to do this transaction and then they block it? They block your payment, then you have to call fraud, then you have to explain to them what you're doing and why. Like, that's too invasive. If it's my money, it shouldn't matter what I'm doing with it or why, right? And then they could tell you, you know, you wrote a check, we're not going to give you access for 3 weeks. Or they can do all these particular things. But in the DeFi space, they're not doing those things, you know. So the services that were previously slow and at risk of human error are automatic and safer now because they're handled through coding. And because they're handled through coding, anyone can inspect and scrutinize what they see. And so that's the difference in a nutshell. And then one of the things I want to show you about your DeFi bank is a couple of components. As I mentioned, it's decentralized. Because it is decentralized, there is no government that can come in and shut it down. A decentralized space means there is no owner. So how can the government shut something down that no one owns? It's straight coding. The only way that a decentralized space could literally get shut down is if every country in the world decided that we are going to block our citizens from having access to crypto. If that never happens, which it never will, because we have many governments that are switching over to a crypto only space. You see what I'm saying? So if that was to happen, you would miss out. Jackie and I wouldn't miss out. Why? Because we already have money in crypto, right? So this is what I want you to understand. This is why movement immediately is extremely important. And the beautiful thing about this DeFi space, it connects lenders to borrowers. You could be a lender and a lender. That's what I like to say. You could lend to yourself using your cryptocurrency as collateral. No one is denied if you have the collateral. You can earn interest when you loan crypto to other people. So when I heard this, I was like, Jackie, this is what I said. I said, so you mean to tell me if I just keep putting my money, instead of sitting money in the bank, because first of all, the banks don't even store money in the bank. Money in the bank is supposed to be specifically for paying bills. You don't make enough interest on your money in the bank to just let it sit there. You actually lose money, right? So when I was like, okay, so every time that I get extra or I'm working to build my portfolio, well, I'm putting money in it every day, every week, I'm creating a line of credit for myself. So you mean to tell me, and I did the math, I was like, okay, so if I keep building my crypto portfolio, it hit $1 million. I immediately have a $500 line of credit, $500,000 line of credit. Okay. So with that $500,000 line of credit, I can say, send me $500,000. Jackie, I can go buy me a $500,000 house and have the deed in hand. I ain't have to tell them my gender. I didn't have to tell them my race. I didn't have to tell them my ethnic background. All they cared about was that I had crypto as collateral. And then the crazy part about it is that you don't have any repayment terms. They got the crypto as collateral. Do you see what I'm saying? So now, as I'm putting that money back to pay myself back, my crypto is still secure. And this is what I want you to understand. When you borrow from yourself, that money hits your bank account as a loan. It does not hit your bank account as income. So now when you pull from your crypto that way as a loan, you don't have to report that as income. Ain't that crazy? You do not have to report it because it's a loan. You're loaning to yourself. You're a loaner and a loaner, as I said. And your credit lines are available immediately. So whatever it is that you need to do, you borrow from yourself. You pay yourself back. Your crypto continues to grow. You don't have to open up all your finances to these banks for them to comb through everything to tell you you worthy or not. It's so crazy because you could be a renter paying $2,000 a month, and then you got to prove to a mortgage lender that you're worthy of paying, that you can afford $1,200 a month. You see what I'm saying? So the system itself is screwed up. But now through this DeFi space, you have an opportunity to take control. Banks don't like that. If they could keep people from it, they will. And it's so interesting. Banks, the nation's largest banks, are now asking the international body of regulators to give them the space to grow their crypto asset exposures. They're doing this because they understand that DeFi is on the rise, and the more people that know, the more people will realize they really don't need to put money in bank accounts. The more people will realize I really don't have to take loans from bank accounts. That is how banks make their money. From us putting our money in there to sit and from us taking out loans, right? If we stop putting our money in there, they cannot give out any loans because they don't have any money. And then they can't make interest on your money that they're letting people borrow for their big purchases, right? And so what they're trying to do now is get a space in crypto so that when you call Bank of America and say, well, you ain't really got to tell me your business, but just, speaking frankly, let's just say I'm moving all of my money that I'm in my savings, I'm moving it to my DeFi account. Oh, well, we have crypto now, so you could just put it here. But these banks know that they can't help you get 8 to 12% a year on your crypto. Our bank's barely even giving us 0.1% a year. So they cannot compete. But this is the difference between the rich and the poor, is information. Jackie has set a platform for you all to get information so that you can see what's happening globally, and so you are not left behind, right? And so even in this information that we're sharing today, it's going to be next steps that you have to take for you to position yourself, right? And we're going to talk about that here in just a few moments. Another thing that I wanted to show you all is this. This is Brock Pierce. Brock Pierce, he is actually an actor from the Mighty Ducks, and he has his own crypto bank, right? And in this particular bank, when Bitcoin skyrocketed, his portfolio increased. So this is what I want you to understand. Your bank account makes 8 to 12% a year. Your crypto account makes 8 to 12% a year. But as crypto goes up, that's pushing your account up as well. So it's generally more than that on a bull run. And so he had his money in his account through his crypto lender, and he was able to buy a $1.2 million home deed in hand by using his crypto as collateral. So now instead of think about it, when you buy a house, if you were to get a loan for a house for 1.2 million, immediately after you close on that loan, within the next 30 to 45 days, you're now about to start paying $6,000 back a month, right? But with this platform, because you're using collateral, you can say, okay, this month I'm paying $6,000, next month I'm paying $1,000. The next month I'm not paying nothing because I got other stuff I got to do. The next month I'm not paying nothing. It's not a payback term because you're borrowing against yourself. The collateral is already there covering it. That's the part that I need you to understand. And so people don't want you to get hold of that. And this is what I'm going to show you real quick before we shift to what's next and how to position yourself. So this is an example of what your bank looks like when you log into your online banking, right? As you can see in this example, this is just an example I pulled. Portfolio balance is $485,000. Immediately, you have a $204,000 credit limit. So that means, let's just say you wanted to do an Airbnb and you wanted to buy like a small home to renovate, and it was $100,000. You could come here and say, send me $100,000. That $100,000 is coming to you immediately. The money that's not pulled out of your available credit, where did it go? Sorry. The money that's not pulled out of your available credit is still accumulating across the board. Do you see what I'm saying? So now you can see here, this account has already made $12,000 interest. This probably would have been $48 in a regular bank. That's how much your interest will be for a year. Do you see what I'm saying? So now you're able to accelerate your growth. Now you're able to position yourself for that legacy and the things that you want to do where your family is concerned. And so you can put your coins into different types of cryptos to grow it. You can put your coins in a stable coin if you don't want to deal with the crypto fluctuations. You can just say, I'm gonna put 100,000 in here in the USD coin, and I'm gonna just let it sit at 100 and start accumulating 12%. I know that I'll be up about $12,000 in the next year. So it depends on how conservative or aggressive that you want to be with your growth, and it's totally up to you. You can say, I'm gonna put 1,000 in here. You know, if you put 1,000, you're gonna be up about $120. You see what I'm saying? So that's still strong because that $1,000 in your bank account, after they take out the $8 monthly fee, you see what I'm saying? And then give you $2, you less than $1,000. So now it's about understanding and applying the principle. So what happens next? If you're watching this and you're ready to get plugged in with your DeFi bank, what you would do is reach out to Jackie and say, Jackie, send me the link, okay? You have 2 packet options that you can pick from, and I'm going to explain both to you and tell you what I personally recommend. So you can do your DCX Academy, which is $235 to start, and then it's $174 a month. Remember, I said at the beginning that when it comes to developing, you want continual education. Economics, money, this thing is constantly changing every day. So you can't get on here and just buy some crypto today and then leave it, and then a year later think you good. So much is going to change that you need to be a part of. So you may say, Camille, Jackie, I want to focus solely on cryptocurrency. And that's totally fine. What will happen is once you get set up and plugged into the system, we're going to help you set your bank up. Once we help you set your bank up, we're going to show you where to go to start getting your education. You see what I'm saying? Jackie and I will be available to answer questions for you as you go through the process. We're gonna hold your hand. We're not gonna leave you stranded, right? And then you have the option to go elite. Elite is what I personally recommend because I'm a big advocate of producing more money to continue to invest. And so if you've ever seen or heard of the cash flow quadrant with Robert Kiyosaki, he talks about the 4 ways that money is produced, and that's active income, which is employees, self-employed, and then your passive income, business owners, and investors. And so within this particular space, you can choose if you want to be self-employed or a business owner. And let me explain to you what that means, because when you start putting money into your DeFi crypto account, that puts you into the investor quadrant. So our particular company and platform supports 3 out of 4 of the ways that you can produce money. So it's up to you if you take advantage of all 3, or if you take advantage of 1 or 2. I personally take advantage of all 3. So what does the self-employed, the S quadrant, looks like? That means you have to show up in order to produce income. So that's where our trading aspect is concerned. So there are educators that will teach you, and Jackie is a beast with trading, will teach you strategy on how to take $100 and compound that money 4% a day to grow your money, to where you could take the interest that you grew your money to and put it into your crypto to keep growing. Ultimately, you can say, Camille, I want to be rich. Camille, like, you could be rich trading, but remember, it's self-employed. If you don't show up, you don't make money. But on the flip side of that, as a business owner, the same information that I just shared today is you would expose this to everyone you know, because honestly, every person that we know should have their own bank. So it's now deeper than just getting your own bank, but being plugged in to get the information to continue to grow. So on the business side of things, remember, the person that solves problems makes the money. So who can you solve problems for in their life? That's the question you want to ask yourself. Because as you continue to solve problems and make impact in people's lives, it's going to produce passive income. What is that? Money that you don't have to show up for. So as you continue to make impact, passive income will come to your pocket, which then positions you to continue to invest as well. Because the last thing I want you to do, if you're actually an employee, is to try to rely solely on your employee income to keep investing. Now it is about producing additional money to continue to invest. And so that's literally what happened with me. I was like, okay, I have a goal. So Camille, you have to take your impact up. Okay, Camille, get consistent with trading every day, because now you have these opportunities to continue to get to your goal. So those things that you were believing for, that you want to accomplish, that have a financial piece attached to it, what we're sharing with you now, if you follow the blueprint and are teachable, can happen for you in the next 12 months. It just depends on how bad you want it. And so I hope that this made sense. Like, it's definitely like game changer, and so many lives will be changed for the person that says, this makes sense, I'm ready to go. I don't know everything, I'm willing to be a student and grow. And so I don't know if anybody had any questions or anything like that.
Yes, but, come on, guys, put your questions in the chat if you guys have some questions, because the thing about it is we say we want, you know, the houses, the cars, we want to be financially stable, we want to be financially free, we want to be debt free, right? And being financially free and being debt free is 2 different things, right? Mm-hmm. We want to be financially free, right? Mm-hmm. And so we say these things out of our mouth, and we speak affirmations, we speak declarations over our lives, over ourselves. And don't get me wrong, all of that is great. And y'all know we talked about this the other day, but if we don't put action behind it, it's not going to happen. Right? It's never going to happen. Right? And so it's like, yeah, speaking into the atmosphere, but you also have to put action behind it, because the Bible says that faith without works is dead. Right?
I was just about to say that.
Listen, so the faith is the action. right? The faith is an action. Yes, I have faith that I'm going to be an 8, 9, 10 figure earner. I have faith, right? But what is the works behind that faith that's going to get me to 8, 9, and 10 figures, right? And so we bring information on, and that's, I love what you said, Camille. The difference between the rich and the poor is information, right? Because the poor, we don't want to, well, I ain't gonna say we because I ain't poor, but
Right.
the poor, they don't want information. They don't want to hear nothing because they always think they get in scams. The poor always think somebody out to get them. The poor, they're stingy, don't want to, put no money nowhere. They don't want to get education. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's terrible. So that's why they continue to be in that poor mindset. That's why they continue to be in poverty and lack, right? Where the rich will say, you know what? I don't know all 100% about it, but I'm gonna just do it, right? I love it because I put some stuff in the Chic Wealth Society even this last couple of weeks. My girlfriend posted, I put some stuff in Chic Wealth Society, and a few of you was like, well, what is this all about? Can you tell me what this is about? And you actually have taken advantage of the information that was put in Chic Wealth Society. And because you did that, you're already seeing an increase. Come on now. You didn't know all about it, but you was like, well, just send me the link. I'm just going to sign up and see what happened, right? And it was good to you because a lot of times we'll go out and we'll buy some hair that everybody said was good. We'll pay $200, $300, $400 for it. And then 3 days later, it looked like a whole bird.
Listen, that happened to me recently. Talk about hot.
Look, order that hair for Amazon, looking a hot mess after 3 days. Come on now, right? And so we'll do that. And then we just be mad because we lost our money, right? But yet, if we try to put our money into some type of investment and we lose it, I ain't gonna never invest again. I ain't gonna never. But you'll go out and you'll try some more hair companies to buy some more hair, right? So the thing about it is, we want to see you win. That period. In the story, we want to see you win, right? We want to see your family win. And the way to get to it, the way that the rich is rich and the wealthy are wealthy is because of investments.
Yep.
They're rich and they're wealthy because of investments, because they took the information that they heard and they acted upon it, right? A lot of times, it's like, oh, I'm going to go pray about it and see what the Lord tell me to do. But then 2 days ago, you was crying out to God saying, God, I need you to help me. I need you to send something. I need you to get me out of this financial situation. God, I need you. Tears running down your face, you snotting and you slobbing and you praying out to God. And then when the investment opportunity comes, you like, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. And it's like when you just prayed about something, right? And so you're expecting the big check in the mail, you're expecting the big deposit in your bank account, right? And God is saying, no, that's not how I'm gonna give it to you.
Right.
Right. I've given you gifts, I've given you talents, I've given you skills, I've given you abilities. And those abilities is what's going to allow you to produce the wealth, right? The information that you receive is going to allow you to produce the wealth, right? And so, listen, I'm excited about DeFi. I already got all my stuff set up. I'm already making money. I'm already able to borrow my own money. I ain't got to give nobody my social security number. I ain't got to tell nobody how much I make a year, see if I qualify. I don't have to worry about, Lord, please let them folks approve me. I don't want to get in. Please let them approve me. Y'all know y'all be praying when y'all be putting them phones in.
Listen.
Y'all be applying for them laws, praying they approve you, don't deny you, right? And so literally, we don't, with the decentralized financing, you don't have to do any of that. You're putting money in, growing your money, and then you're borrowing off of your own money. Like, who would not want to do that? Who would not want to do that, right? And then the money that's sitting there, I'm still growing. I'm growing at up to 12% a year. Like, your bank account will never allow you to grow that much. I mean, literally, you can have thousands and thousands in the bank and you're getting 0.01% on that. And then you got to beg them to borrow money.
Right.
Why do I have to beg you to borrow money and I'm giving y'all money every single month? Why do I have to beg my bank to borrow something for myself and I'm putting money in the bank every single month? Why? You know what I'm saying? Why do I gotta give you my whole entire life story, write letters, and I'm saying this because I've been there. I've purchased several homes and having to write letters to explain this, explain that.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? I'm writing all these letters to explain all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But y'all don't ask me to write a letter to explain why my check going to y'all account every 2 weeks. You don't say write a letter for that.
Right.
And so I just want to stretch your mind and really plant a seed to show you that, hey, listen, you putting in a little can reap you a harvest. And that's what it's all about. Planting that seed. When you plant those seeds, those apple seeds, when you plant those seeds in the ground, it doesn't just bring you back one apple. It brings you back a harvest. And so there is a principle, and y'all know I love the word of God. So if you don't want to hear the word of God, you better log off. But listen, there's a principle of sowing and reaping. And a lot of times we only want to apply that principle to maybe like how we treat people and the things we say. But that principle is also financially, right? That principle is also financially. Y'all remember the man with the talents?
I was just about to say that.
You know,
I was raising my hand, them talents.
You know, the master and his talents, right? The one who buried their talents, the talent, and didn't do anything with it. He told them to get away from me. Be poor for the rest of your life. I'm through with you. But the two that said, you know what, I took what you gave me and I invested them and made more. And I brought you back the revenue. He was like, yeah, well, let me pay you some extra. Let me give you some extra. But because you brought me extra, I'm about to give you some extra, right? And so that's the thing about it. We have got to start understanding that what we plant, the seeds that we sow, what we invest in will grow and reap a harvest. And so I'm excited, y'all. Listen, I hope y'all excited like I'm excited because Like, I be so excited. Like, I be like, let me do it again.
Right. Like, for real.
I'm going to go add some more money right now to my account.
Listen, that's what I was just sitting here looking over here like, oh, I need to move this over here.
Right. You know, and the thing about it is, and we're going to get off of here, y'all, because y'all know I'll talk all night long. But the thing about it is the education. Like, had I not been in this space for the last 4 years, I wouldn't know hardly nothing. My portfolio would not be looking the way it looks had it not been for this space, right? Because connections are important. Who you're around is important. Who's in your circle is top notch. If you don't have people in your circle that is showing you new things, that are smarter than you, smarter financially, because I don't know everything about finance and wealth, but I guarantee I can go to somebody in my circle and they gonna know. You know what I'm saying? And so if I don't be around the right people with the right connections in the right companies and things like that, then I won't get anywhere. You can read all the self-help books you want to read. It ain't gonna make no difference. It's not gonna make no difference until you start literally getting wealth mentors. Until you literally start getting wealth mentors. Once you start getting the wealth mentors, then that's when you're going to be able to see your wealth move. Because I can read 30 books, but I can't go ask them books no questions. I can't ask those books no questions and they give me an answer. Absolutely not, you know? And so just like you have doctors, just like you have lawyers, just like you have, you know, architects and things like that, you need wealth mentors, period, right? To show you the way. And so that's why I'm so grateful for being in this space, because now I'm on a different path. I'm on a path to where I can leave generational wealth to my children. Right? I can leave something to my children, not just a loan, right? Not just a $10,000 insurance policy, right? That's going to be ate up because of when they bury me, that's how much it's going to cost. And it's even more than that these days, right? So I'm leaving more I'm able to leave more to my children to give them a start, because your children don't have to struggle because you struggle.
Right.
That's saying that, oh, I struggled and I had to do it, so you're gonna have to do it too. No, no, they don't have to, right? It's okay. And so it's okay to help your children get a good start, get their foot in the ground. Believe me, they're gonna learn what they need to learn, right? And so I'm just excited. Listen, contact me, DM me if you excited like I'm excited. I'm ready to get you started. I'm ready to see your web portfolio start going up. I'm ready for you to be like, Jackie, oh my God, look how much money I got. Because I get that all the time. And y'all have seen it in the group. You literally have seen it in Chic Wealth Society when I think somebody posted the other day, like, oh my gosh, my Bitcoin I can't remember what it was, but they posted the other day and was like, look how much it's grown. Look how much it's grown, right? And so I'm ready to start helping you grow your money. So literally DM me. I'm super excited for you, Camille. Thank you so much for coming
Absolutely.
on.
This
So,
was fun. This was fun.
You know me, I just be laughing and cracking up.
Right.
And it's what? Oh, it's 6:48. So it's what, 8:48 out there?
Yes.
Look at Gucci, y'all.
Say
Hi,
hi.
Gucci. Hi, Gucci. Look at Gucci. Gucci's
Say
like,
hi,
okay,
TT.
it's time to get off. He's like, it's time to get off right now.
Right. He did good. He did good.
He did. So anyway, you guys, I love you, Chic Wealth Society. All I want to do is see you grow. I want to see your pockets grow, your VATs grow, your bank accounts grow. I want to see you grow mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, relationally, all of that. So DM me, and I will see you guys in later on in the group. Have a